podcast. I'm recording this episode on Saturday, September 5th. So I haven't recorded in several days now. So there is, I think, a good amount to talk about. So I'm just going to jump right into it and start off with some more awards the guy handed out between my last episode and this one. One of those being the Rookie of the Year. And Ja Morant won that one by a landslide, like I thought that he would. So up until, with that award, including that award, I'd like to consider myself pretty accurate on all my picks. Brandon Ingram was kind of like a half hit just because I chose him with an exception by saying, if we're not counting second-year players and I can't pick Luka, then I pick Brandon Ingram. But yeah, but the other award that got handed out this week was Sixth Man of the Year. And that got given to Montrezl Harrell, which in my episode where I picked my Sixth Man of the Year, I did pick Dennis Schroeder. If you want to go listen to that episode, you can. I actually did kind of talk about both of them, possibly deserving the award. I was really torn between those two, Dennis Schroeder and Montrezl Harrell. But in my personal opinion, I would have gone with Dennis Schroeder. Yeah, Montrezl Harrell was definitely a deserving candidate for sure. And I'm not too upset about him getting the award. I think that it makes total sense. He had a really good case for it. Yeah, I just thought that Dennis Schroeder played quite a few more minutes and was a bit of a bigger role on his team than Harrell was on his, is how I kind of looked at it. But yeah, congratulations to both those guys for winning those awards. And this has actually become the third Clippers player that has won the award in the past 7 years, which is actually, so there's three Clippers players across 5 awards across 7 years. So Jamal Crawford, Lou Williams, and now Montrezl Harrell, which Lou won it 3 times as a Clipper. Is that right? I thought that Jamal Crawford won it multiple times as a Clipper as well, but maybe they were a number of years apart or something. Oh, look, Sixth Man of the Year by year. Yeah, so Lou Williams won last year and the year before. So the past 3 years have all been Clippers, now including this year with Montrezl Harrell. And then in 2016, Jamal Crawford won it as a Clipper. And then in 2014, Jamal Crawford also won it as a Clipper. So the last time Lou Williams won it, he was actually with the Raptors, and that was in 2015. J.R. Smith won with the Knicks in 2013, and James Harden won with the Thunder in 2012. Lamar Odom with the Lakers in 2011. Yeah, and Eric Gordon with the Rockets in 2017. I forgot to mention that one. But yeah, so five Sixth Man of the Year awards across 7 years for the Clippers, and amongst 3 different players. I guess they know how to utilize their bench. But Jamal Crawford and Lou Williams, I believe, are 2 of the most, that type of player. Like, they both won the award before they got to Los Angeles as well. So, but yeah, it was a well-deserved award to Montrezl Harrell. I think I'm going to jump into the playoff series that are going on right now. I guess I'll start with the series that got to Game 3 the quickest, so they're the farthest along in the series. They're going to play Game 4 tonight, actually, and that's the Raptors and Celtics. I picked Celtics to win this series, and I'm sticking with that pick. I think Celtics are going to put it away. And last game was pretty crazy. The whole ending of it was pretty wild. I thought that the game was over right when the Kemba play happened. He was kind of shifting through traffic. I thought he was going to score, and apparently so did the Raptors, because they both, the two players in the paint, both kind of crowded him right when he got to the elbow, and left Tice wide open under the basket, and he dumped it off right to Tice with 0.5 seconds left, and Tice dunked it. And then with Toronto's possession, with 0.5 seconds left in the game, the Celtics put Taco Fall on Kyle Lowry, who was inbounding, and somehow, I don't know how OG Anunoby was so wide open in the corner why Jaylen Brown was so far away from him. But he darted that thing right over to OG, and OG Anunoby quickly released it from 3. It went in, and the Raptors took a game. I'd be surprised if the Raptors don't win at least one more game. I think this series is probably going 6, is what I'd say. But yeah, I'd stick with the Celtics to win this one. But yeah, that shot was really crazy by OG Anunoby. OG has been one of my favorite players for a while now, just because like his personality. I've watched videos with him on Serge Ibaka's show that's on YouTube, and he has such a dry sense of humor. How he's just always completely unemotional and unfazed by everything. And it was funny to see him hit such a big shot, because right after he did it, he just like turned around and was so like stone faced, like completely unfazed. And in his post game interview, how he was acting just completely like nonchalant about everything. It was kind of funny. A lot of people I saw on Instagram people commenting on like his post game interview stuff, like saying that he's cocky because like he's being so like chill about it. Basically, he's acting like it's no big deal or whatever. But honestly, that's just like his personality. He's just super like that. Really completely unfazed by things. Like that's at least how he presents himself, and it's funny. But yeah, I think we're seeing a lot of what I've been talking about with this series with Celtics Raptors, that the Celtics have options to score in isolation down the stretch, and Raptors don't have that as much in terms of a half-court set. So I think that's what's really hurting the Celtics, or hurting the Raptors right now. Yeah. Moving over to Heat Bucks, a lot of the same reasons that I said I picked Celtics, those are a lot of the same reasons I picked Heat, because Bucks also don't have a good half-court offense. Most of their points come from the full court. Celtics are the best transition defensive team in the NBA, which, they're going up against the Raptors, which is one of the best full-court teams. And then the Heat are the second best transition defense in the league, and they're going up against the Bucks, who has the best transition offense in the league. So yeah, they match up pretty well with them, and also the Bucks, they give up the most threes in the NBA because they prioritize paint protection. But the Heat are one of the best 3-point shooting teams in the league. I believe they're second or third. So yeah, that's been really tough for them, because they're prioritizing protecting the paint, but the Heat isn't. I mean, like, they do score in the paint quite a bit, but they get shots from everywhere. The Heat do. So, and down the stretch, Jimmy Butler can get a shot from mid-range and at the rim, really even at 3, when he's really in the zone. So yeah, and I think we saw him get in that zone last night. The Heat, they were down by 12 at the start of the fourth quarter, and they ended up winning by 15. Jimmy Butler had 17 points in the fourth quarter, which was more than the entire Bucks team had. So yeah, and also the job that they've been doing on Giannis defensively has been really good. Giannis hasn't had a bad series, I would say, but they're playing him really, really well. Also, why Brook Lopez and Chris Middleton are playing more minutes than Giannis Antetokounmpo, the Defensive Player of the Year and last year's MVP, and most likely this year's MVP. Why they're playing more minutes than he is just completely unfathomable. I don't understand it. They played more minutes than him last night, and in the other games, Chris Middleton played the same amount as Giannis, which Chris Middleton's your second banana, but George Hill played 1 minute less than Giannis. Like, he's only playing him a max of 36 minutes, really, is what Bud said in the interview the other day. He said, these stars, playing them 35, 36 minutes in a playoff game is really pushing the ceiling or something like that. When it's like, what other star plays that few minutes consistently in playoff games? Like, that's like a regular season star, like the minutes they would play. He played him, I guess, a little bit less in the regular season, especially when they were up by so much. He only averaged like 31 minutes per game in the regular season, which is nuts. And how he had the statistical season that he had even with those minutes is just nuts. But yeah, he needs to be playing Giannis more, at least a few more minutes more. You need to maximize the best, your best lineups being in there. The Bucks, they're not a super deep team. Like, they're pretty deep, but like they don't have, coming off the bench, they don't have the pieces that you would want to win a series against the Heat. I think the Heat have a better bench than the Bucks do. Bucks might have a bigger bench, but yeah, I mean, Connaughton is playing tons of minutes, like, who's not bad, but what rotation player on the Heat in that guard forward area is worse than Connaughton? I think you got Nunn, you got Hero, you got Duncan Robinson, you got Jay Crowder, Andre Iguodala, all those guys, Jimmy Butler, obviously. So Goran Dragic, I don't understand some of the rotations Budenholzer's using, but yeah, the Heat are up 3-0 now. I don't think they'll sweep the series. I doubt that, just because of the competitor that Giannis is and how good this Bucks team has been all season. I think that they're gonna, with their backs up against the wall, at least take one game. But yeah, I picked the series to go in 5, and this is kind of weird for Giannis's career, just because for a while now people have been saying that he might be going somewhere else in free agency to 2021, and other people have been saying no, he loves it in Milwaukee, as the system built around him and all that. But it's been a couple of years in a row now where they ran into problems in the playoffs. Really 3 years in a row. But so, and the two main teams that has been talked about where he wants to go is the Heat and Toronto. Toronto, because it's such a culturally diverse city that has a lot of a very high Greek population, and he's close with Masai Ujiri, the GM there, and Nick Nurse is a really good coach that would, I think, utilize Giannis very interestingly, and I think probably very well. And yeah, so that would be a cool fit and a cool destination. And then Miami, because he has that kind of, I don't know if I want to say Mamba mentality, but like competitive drive, the hardworking attitude from a player. I think he really possesses that. What winners are, some of the best ever have that kind of demeanor, that kind of attitude, like a Kobe or a Jordan. Maybe not quite to the same level, but definitely like that. And that's exactly what the Heat culture is all about. They really resemble like the Jordan philosophy that you see in like The Last Dance, and that's really what Jimmy Butler embodies. But yeah, Pat Riley has built a culture there with the Heat, with Eric Spoelstra as well, and that's what they're all about. And I think that Giannis would fit in really well with the Heat culture, and they'd probably get the best out of him in that way. And then the other team is the Golden State Warriors, because of his friendship with Stephen Curry that we've seen over the years, and just how insane of a fit that would be, like offensively speaking, is pretty nuts. Him and Draymond probably don't fit super well together in terms of play style, so we'll see what happens there. But you could still make a very good team out of those guys. Like, they would probably be around the same level that the Warriors with KD was, especially coming back with, they have a player, Andrew Wiggins, and who, I think playing his role could be a pretty nice piece on this team. He's a very talented player. Just hasn't been, the efficient scorer that you would want him to be at the level that, he was expected to play in his years with Minnesota. being the first or second option. Now he's like the third or fourth. So, but other than that, and then there's also they have a top 5 lottery pick. I believe they have the third pick. I already forgot about the lottery outcomes. Yeah, so they're the second pick in the draft, which is probably going to be James Wiseman, or if Anthony Edwards is available at 2, maybe him. But, somebody that is going to be at least a pretty good addition to this roster. They have, their pick at a lot of different players with that second pick. Probably somebody that not necessarily is going to be expected to be a star right away. I don't think there's a lot of those types of players in this draft. It's kind of seems like a really role player-y kind of draft. And, being drafted to this Golden State Warriors team, you're probably going to be a role player right away, no matter the position, really. So I think that's going to be a big addition as well. But if they get Giannis, they could run Giannis basically at center. Is probably what they do a lot. Have Giannis and Draymond at the big spots, and then a backcourt of Steph and Clay, and then maybe have Andrew Wiggins there at the 3. Isn't the most perfect thing ever, but that's just way too much talent. Like Giannis would, the way that Giannis is built around right now in Milwaukee, what they're trying to do is just get shooters, surround Giannis with, that he can have space to operate, which they don't have the best shooters. Like, they have capable shooters, but they don't have like any sharp shooters other than Kyle Korver, and George Hill has been a really good shooter this year, but I don't think that's sustainable. But yeah, if he was with Steph and Clay, who are 2 of the greatest shooters of all time, and also 2 of the best off-ball shooters of all time. Like, their off-ball movement is incredible. Clay's catch-and-shoot ability is insane, and how, Steph relocates and runs around screens and gets to where he needs to. He, plays off-ball like a J.J. Redick, like that type of a three-point specialist. But he's, with the ball in his hands, he's also, like Kyrie Irving or Chris Paul. Like, he's a superstar player with the ball in his hands. It's just a crazy combination. And them being around Giannis, they just have so many options, and they'd have ISO options down the stretch as well with Steph. So yeah, that'd be pretty crazy. But I don't know. I think that would be pretty wild if he went there. There'd be a lot of really big reactions. I don't know if he would do that, but it's something to think about, I guess. Yeah, I think I'll be done with that series though, and I'll go on to Nuggets Clippers. So, Nuggets are my team, but I'm not really expecting them to win this series. I think I said it last episode. I picked Clippers 100% to win the series. It'd be cool if Nuggets could take a couple games, or even miraculously win the series. I mean, I'd be excited for sure. But I'm kind of coming into this with the attitude of there's nothing to lose. Clippers are just the superior team right now, and I'm kind of looking forward to the offseason, things to do to rebuild and reboot this Nuggets team to be better next season. But yeah, last game we weren't playing terribly, at least offensively speaking. It didn't seem like we were playing that bad most of the game, but we were just getting destroyed. They were up by 30 pretty easily, and there was honestly not too glaring of terrible things that was happening on the Nuggets end. I think our defense was bad, as it has been. Offensively, we were looking not bad though, and yeah, so I don't know. They're just a better team. It's kind of sucks to get beat like that when it's you doesn't even look like you're playing that bad of a basketball game, and you're just getting really destroyed. But I guess just looking forward to next season with that one. And then the last series that's going on right now. So there's only 4 series left, or that are going on right now because it's obviously the second round. Yeah, so I'm really, it's really starting to feel like we're getting close, really narrowing down the teams. But I think this Rockets Lakers series is going to be a really hard fought one. Rockets took game 1. I think that this series is going to go at least 6. I still probably take Lakers to win it, even though Rockets won game 1. I just think LeBron over and over throughout his career has kind of looked not every series, but a lot of series has looked not very good in the first game or two, and then kind of figures it out. He's a really high IQ level player, high basketball IQ, but so I think he really kind of figures out in game plans what he wants to do after the first couple games in a series, and how he wants to play and how he wants to approach the game. So we might see a little bit of that, him break out a little bit more in games to come, which he didn't have a bad game last night, really. He didn't not like a terrible game, but he didn't play well in the fourth quarter, that's for sure. AD was being way too passive. I don't understand it. I don't understand how the Rockets keep getting away with this, keep getting away with like making themselves vulnerable to a generational talent like an Anthony Davis, and then somehow the Lakers don't utilize it because it seems like that's what the Rockets want you to do because they don't have any big guys. It's like they're kind of like waiting for you to do it. Just do it. Like, I don't know. I get the Thunder. It's hard for them to do it because Steven Adams isn't like a post scorer. Anthony Davis is one of the best post scorers in the last 20 years of basketball. Like, just let him catch it on the post, on the block, or even at the elbow, just over and over. Just do that. At least every other player. There's no reason he should only have I think it was 6 shots in the first half. He was 4 for 6. Why is he only taking 6 shots in the first half? He needs to be taking he needs to be taking 10 shots a quarter. He needs to be taking 40 shots in a game against the Rockets. And he had good percentages. I don't understand it. I just don't get it. Also, how easily sometimes some plays where an off-ball defender like Eric Gordon, when he's posting up, will just come up and take the ball out of his hands. It's I don't know. You got to be a little bit more heads up than that. Also, Rondo was the one on that play that wasn't, the guy that the off-ball defender is guarding. When they try to go in for a steal like that, you're doing them a huge favor by not moving, by just standing there. Do something. Go somewhere that you're going to punish your defender for not paying attention to you, for not sticking on you. In that situation, Eric Gordon was, cheating towards Anthony Davis. Just go over Anthony Davis and get a handoff, and then you're right wide open in the lane. I don't know. They need to, I feel do more stuff like that, which I know Rondo is a really smart player. He needs to figure stuff like that out too. But, yeah. I think Anthony Davis needs to be more aggressive in this series, score more points. There's no reason he can't or he isn't. He needs to be doing that. Otherwise, if you're not taking advantage of nobody on their team being able to guard Anthony Davis, then you're letting the Rockets run away with the advantage of nobody on the Lakers being able to guard James Harden. Because there's nobody that really can. Anthony Davis is probably the best defender on James Harden so far in this series, which is nuts because Anthony Davis is a center. But I don't know. I think you're doing the Rockets a favor when you're not utilizing Anthony Davis down there and taking advantage of that. But yeah, I think that's it for this episode. I still need to get an episode done with Jacob or somebody. I need to do that. It's just hard to really find a time when we're both able to, and also the logistics of it. I've never recorded an episode with 2 people in different places because he lives in Kearney. But, so I'll probably have him record on Audacity or something at the same time I am, and, line it up with, we'll both clap or something like that, and he can send me the audio file and I can line them up into one. But, yeah, we'll see if we can get an episode like that soon. But yeah, as always, thank you guys for listening. If you're listening on YouTube and you like the video, please press the like button, and please consider subscribing to the channel as well. If you're listening on Spotify, please consider following the Spotify feed. But as always, thank you guys for listening, and I'll talk to you guys next time.